Hi, just wanted to make a quick little video. I did a little bit of work on my new intake runners from DanST Engineering. I did it right away because I wanted to take care of a few things. Looking down the bores, you can see that these brass nipples stick into the bore some. So what I did was smoothed them out. So you can see that one's perfectly flush. This one sticks up. So I've done both of these two over here. And then I had also smoothed out the turns. Now this right up here is the short turn. You can see how they make these is they bend the pipe like this. Well, this right here, it makes a really sharp ridge. So you grind that down, makes it nice and smooth. You can kind of see there that it's a very gentle transition now. Compared to these two, it's still really aggressive. I haven't touched these yet, and they're awfully aggressive, especially this outer one. All these outermost ones, because the carbs are smaller than the intake ports, so the intake charge kind of fans out, which means these outer two are always going to have worse transitions than the middle two. So we just try to quell that down the best we can. This one's still pretty sharp because I haven't touched it yet. But I did gasket match these, or I should say, the gasket match is probably the wrong term, but I matched the port shape, size, and location of my manifold to my head. So looking down in there, if I can sneak the camera down in there, you can't really see any jagged edges between the two ports in either of these guys. They're both really clean, and hats off to DanST Engineering for making this a snug fit. Once you put your studs or bolts in here, this guy doesn't move much, which makes for really good port matching. So I got these two matched pretty good. These I haven't done yet. See, I got ways to go. I left those two head ports stock so you could see how nasty they are to begin with. One thing I haven't done yet is clean up the flange side of this intake manifold. And well, what exactly does that mean? If we look here, these flange ports, or port openings on the flange, are well, not the greatest. I mentioned in my review that these guys are tapered. They taper from a larger diameter on the inside to a smaller diameter on this mating surface. So that's definitely one thing I couldn't conquer. You see, if I put my flashlight here, that casts a shadow, even though that's perfectly perpendicular. That casts a real nasty shadow because that little dark area is scooped out. It's so scooped out that light only shines at it if you point it there at an aggressive angle. But that right there is how bad it's scooped. And of course, like I said, it's worst on the outer runners. On these inner ones, it's much less. You can see that casts a shadow too, but it's much smaller. On the insides of all these, not a single issue. Though in a select few of these runners, there is a little bit of a divot on the insides of some of them. So I quelled that the best I could, but the only good solution would be to go and fill that in with weld and then try porting it out again. I didn't really want to do that. That's a lot more time to put into this, and I'm not sure if my aluminum MIG will weld onto their. I believe this is billet aluminum, all that great. They on their website they advertise what aluminum this is, but yeah, I'm not going to mess with it at the moment. Maybe someday it'd be nice to fill that in, make it smooth, so I can have a better transition to these. But getting the transition right is difficult and kind of important because all these ports on all the CVH heads, they're designed to go in from diagonally from the top corner. So they go in just like this. That's how your charge is coming in. It's kind of gentle, but you know, that's just how it is with a Hemi head, because that's where your valve goes. That's the optimal flow for your intake charge to meet your valve. Well, the stock manifold on the EFI heads, they're all just straight runners. They come straight out like this. So getting it to match these isn't the greatest. So and the problem amplifies itself when you're working with these, because now these two are working against each other, especially down here. You see that's poking inwards and this is poking outwards, so it makes for a tricky time blending that. So if I could add more metal, that would definitely fix this. So that might be for a future time, but we'll call it goods today.